Hello, I'm Crazy Joe, one of your Simon Kenton Council's shooting sports directors. Today we're going to talk about muzzle loaders. Before you we have a Traditions Kentucky long rifle reproduction. It's not really a replica, it's just a reproduction to make it look like it. Works and operates the same way as the Kentucky long rifle work. This is an 1800s to 1830s type gun, uses percussion cap technology. Okay, but the first thing we want to do before we handle any firearm is we want to make sure that it's unloaded. On a normal gun, we'd pull the bolt back, we'd break it open, we'd look inside of it and say that it's empty, and verify it. With a muzzle loader, since everything goes down through the top, we can't really do that. So the only way to check to see that it's empty is we're going to take the ramrod that came with the gun, we're going to drop it down the barrel, and it goes flush so that we know that this gun is empty. You might also use, like I do, instead of using the rod that came with it, I have a range rod so that I don't ruin up the original rod. So if you have one of those, you can also verify it's empty. But if you notice, this one doesn't go all the way down. So I have physically marked it on whether you can see it, but right where my thumbnail is, I have cut a groove into this so that I know when this gun is empty. So now that we've verified that it's empty, we can start talking about it. Okay, so like a normal gun, we got a barrel, we got a forestock. The forestock just happens to run clear to the end. We've got our stock, we've got our trigger, we've got a guard around the trigger. On this one we have a hammer, and the hammer has 3 positions. So 1 is clear down, 2 is what they call half cock position, which allows us to put on the percussion cap, which is this little thing, you probably can't see it, but it goes over top the nipple right there, which causes the gun to fire. It's the primer on this gun. When we're ready to fire, we would pull it back one more time, and now it's in the firing position. Okay. Also, like with a regular gun, we have a rear sight and a front sight. Open sights work the same way as, you might have a 22 or something, work the same way. Okay, so before we go any farther, let's talk about safety. When we're using a gun, a firearm, we want to make sure that we always follow safety rules. There are like 10 primary golden rules of gun safety. One is we always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Since we're here on a range, that part's going to be easy. We've got a bank to my left that we're going to be using later, and we got that covered. We always keep our finger out of the trigger guard until we're ready to use it. So lay it up aside, lay it behind it, but it never goes in there until we're actually on target. And we never load a gun until we're going to use it. We've already verified that this one is unloaded. Okay, so we want to always know what our target is and what's behind it. Here we're on a range, it's not a big deal, but if you're out hunting or something, you don't shoot rustling weeds, you don't know what's behind it, you don't even know what it was. So make sure you know your target. We want to know how to use a gun safely. So if you've never fired a muzzle loader before, somebody should teach you how to do it. Train you. We always want to make sure that the gun is safe to operate. So if it's yours, that's your responsibility. If it's somebody else's or a range gun, that belongs to their responsibility. But if you see something that doesn't look right, say something. Okay? We know how to use it, know how to save it. We always use the correct ammunition for our gun. In this particular case, this is our ammunition. It is a 1/2 inch steel or lead ball, and then with powder. We always use eye and ear protection for obvious reasons. And we never use alcohol or drugs or prescription medication that might cause drowsiness before or during while we're shooting. Just not safe. Okay, and then last, when we're done with our gun, We want to make sure it's stored properly so that those people that do not have access or should not have access can't get to it. All right, now that we've gone through the basics of the gun, let's go to the range and shoot it. Okay, so the equipment we need to shoot our muzzle loader is we have our powder, we have patches, we have our projectile, which is a 50 caliber ball. We have some percussion caps, a powder measure, a ball starter, and a ramrod. And there's also a ramrod that comes with the rifle. We can use this one, but I don't because it saves wear and tear on it. I use a range rod. Okay, so that's our equipment. Now to load the rifle, the first thing we do is we make sure that it is not loaded. So I'm going to drop a ramrod down in it and pull it out and make sure that it's at my mark. I previously marked this ramrod so it goes clear to the bottom when it's empty. If I was using the ramrod for the gun, it would bottom out completely. That way I know it doesn't already have something in it. Okay. Now we get some more equipment out. We're going to be shooting 60 grains of powder. The gun is rated up to 120, but we're only shooting 50 feet, so we really don't need to do a full load unless we just do it for fun. But we always measure. And if you notice, I also always keep the muzzle away from my face, so in case there is something down there, when I dump fresh powder down there, it doesn't blow up in my face. So we measure our powder out, we take a patch, we moisten it. That makes it slide down the barrel easier and makes the gun easier to load. Put the patch on top of the barrel, put the ball on top of the patch, and then we use a ball starter to push the ball down. Now, the old timers used to use this gun. We push that ball down with our fingers. Just push it down. I'm not that strong. And then we ram the ball home. We only ram it a little bit at a time so we don't break the rod. And pound it down to make sure it's there. We also know by our mark that we've got a load in there now. And it's most of the way down. At this point in time, we're ready to fire. We need to put our eyes and our ears on. And when everybody's ready, we'll call the range hot.
All right.
Range is hot.
All right.
Now we got hammer positions here, this is a half cock position where we put our percussion cap on. When we're ready to fire, we'll pull it back, get in our proper position, which is weight forward on the front leg, nice arms or shoulder width apart. We bring it up, put it in the pocket of our shoulder. We aim. All right, we did that one time, now let's try that again. Okay, percussion cap goes on, hammer's in the half cock position. We keep our finger off the trigger until we're ready to fire. We line up down range, cock the hammer one more time, body forward,